All right. Hi, everyone. My name's Eric, and I'm a software engineering and Ivey dual degree student. And today I'll be presenting my work towards promoting creative play for all ages through technology at LEGO. So today's agenda will be pretty straightforward. I will first introduce the problem, then followed by my proposed product solution, and then finally an implementation plan. So let's get started with the problem. The LEGO play experience is really broken into two very distinct types. The first is instruction play. So this is just building like a brand new packaged LEGO set with the physical instructions. And the other is creative play. So this is building with existing LEGO pieces you have and building whatever comes to your mind. For the purpose of this proposed product, we'll be taking a look at the creative play experience, specifically with older children, so those around the ages of 13 to 16 years of age who have some kind of LEGO collection. So after conducting several interviews with the older child segment who have LEGO, 4 key pain points emerged. The first is that creative play requires a lot of effort to get started. You need to collect all your pieces and you need to have a lot of motivation to get going with that process. Second, children often felt very limited by their pieces in their collection, and they felt frustrated by many parts of the building process. Finally, children are very financially limited by their parents' spending, so it makes it really hard for them to be able to grow their collection. The general takeaway is that older children tend to get bored with their existing pieces, and LEGO no longer becomes a play option of choice. So from the user insights, I was able to put together a general problem statement. So how might LEGO prevent older children from getting bored with their LEGO bricks? And it's important to understand why this problem is important. The first is that LEGO is built on what they call the LEGO system. And so this is LEGO's way of saying their ecosystem of products, as in sets for younger children work with sets with older children. Bricks from 1950s still connect with bricks which are made today. And losing interest from a segment of their children market breaks that continuous LEGO ecosystem of products. Second is that LEGO fans as children turn into lifelong customers, not only for their children in the future, but also as adult fans of LEGO. Losing interest from older children reduces the potential for future cash flows from these customers. And then finally, the LEGO mission is to inspire and develop builders of tomorrow. So obviously losing a core customer segment of children is really losing a portion of the builders of tomorrow. So now that we understand the problem and its significance, let's take a look at my proposed product. So we will provide older children creative entertainment through a LEGO AI Builder software, which is perfect for designing complex LEGO models which are optimized for rewarding play. And this product will be an added feature to the existing LEGO Builder app, which is already available to customers. So for those who don't know, the LEGO Builder app is a tool which allows children to manage their LEGO collection and view 3D building instructions digitally for thousands of LEGO sets. The new product will be built on the LEGO Builder app because of a few overlapping features and in order to reduce the number of fragmented digital products which LEGO offers. So what are the key features for this product? First, we'll have the prompt-based LEGO build generation. So you can imagine this looking a little bit like the input bar of ChatGPT. Second, we'll have comprehensive 3D building instructions for each generated build. And then finally, a build redesign functionality. Essentially, this allows children to have their model automatically redesigned to avoid roadblocks such as missing pieces, for example. And these features were all selected because of their ability to decrease the friction to begin creative building, as well as decreasing general building frustrations. And those are two of the greatest needs we identified through user interviews. So with that, let's take a look at the prototype. So here's the prototype which I've worked on. It's got a few features which are shared between the LEGO Builder app. So for example, you can view your LEGO collection. So the app already knows all the sets I have and all the pieces which I have. But there's a new tab right in the middle at the bottom here, which is the AI tab. And on here, I'm able to view the prompt bar. I'm able to see recent builds which I've worked on and recommended builds which are based on my interests and recent searches and whatnot. These are all not actual Lego sets for sale, for retail sale. They're all based on the Lego sets which I have. So if I wanted to, let's say, build an airplane, so I'll use one of the recent prompts which I've entered. I can press go, it'll get to work. And wow, look at that. There we go. So this is an airplane, which it is designed for me based on my prompt. And on this page, it looks almost like it's a Lego set. So it's got details about the model. I've got my part list, building instructions, but I can also see further down, there's an add-on feature. So let's say I look at this picture here and I go, wow, I really want to have a ground crew for my airplane. Well, I can get a ground crew with the add-on of the motorized lighthouse Lego set. So if I wanted to, I could click there. I could add it to my wish list perhaps and ask my parents to go buy it for my birthday or whatnot. So now, next step, I want to make sure I've got all my pieces to build this. Keep in mind, this already knows all the pieces I should theoretically have, but that doesn't mean I can find it in my messy room. So I can go and count up the pieces, make sure I've got the right number. And if I'm missing one, let's say I have one too few of this red brick here, I can actually order my missing pieces, or I can use the AI to redesign the build to avoid that missing piece. So that's what I'll do now. It'll get back to work. And now it's redesigned it to avoid that missing piece. And I've got all the pieces I need, so I'll get started with my build. And it'll just take me to the general 3D digital building instructions, which are already available through the Builder app. So with that, we'll take a look at a few of the success metrics. So the first success metric is the percentage of AI builds which meet the user's expectations. The second one is the number of times users open the app per week. And the third one is the number of users in the older child segment who stop using the app during a month. So we want to decrease this number, basically the monthly churn rate. And these metrics were chosen based on two goals, and that's that we want to improve the effectiveness of the AI model, and we want to improve the retention of the older child segment. So let's look at how to implement this new product through a launch plan and addressing a few of the risks. So within 6 weeks, we'll do a pilot release of the AI model, and this is just for internal and testing with employees. And the exit criteria is to make sure that the generated builds meet the expectations of the user over 70% of the time. After that, we'll go through 3 beta tests, and each one of them increasing the number of users, app users who have access to this new feature. And then finally, within 1 year, we'll have it available to all app users and continue to measure the success metrics, which I mentioned earlier. The main focus is going to be on having a strong AI model which meets the user's expectations as frequently as possible, because that is really the core feature which is providing value to the user. Finally, for risks, there's always the risk of having inaccurate build generation. I think that goes along with many different AI models. So in order to mitigate that risk, we'll make sure we have diverse AI training. And of course, since this is a children's product, we want to make sure that we have safeguards to prevent the generation of inappropriate or unsafe builds. And then finally, the potential for cannibalization of set sales. Potential mitigation for this is offering build add-ons. So that's what I showed my prototype, which you can purchase to enhance your model. As well as positioning the AI tool as a complementary tool. So it's really a way to get more play out of your existing sets and not be a substitute for buying new models. And that's it. So I appreciate everyone listening, and I'm open to questions.
Very, very cool, Eric. Let's turn it over to, by the way, the highest compliment anyone can give you as a product manager is ship it. And I think that's what some of the chatter are in the chat. Like, why doesn't this exist already? So maybe I'll turn it over to Artur, Kevin, Frank to provide some feedback.
I can quickly jump in. One quick question maybe you can ask you is, so overall, like end to end, this is super curious and promising. I think one thing that's a huge benefit of this is like really big problem with AI tools is appropriating data sets. But this is like Lego making more out of its existing, out of the existing data that it has, which is super interesting. I actually wonder if GPT can generate Lego style things already. But one thing that I'm curious is, have you thought about some challenges with the user experience in generating prompts? Because that tends to be a general challenge area for these types of platforms. And can you imagine any kind of mitigations to help, especially if, like users like kids, more effectively generate like highly useful Lego sets?
Yeah, so originally when I was making the plan for things, I had it so it wasn't just like a prompt bar. There was a lot more input which was involved, like what scale do you want to make your model? Do you want it to work with the Lego minifigures? What specific colors do you want? All that. I really simplified it down to having just a text bar, but I do see that there could be issues, especially if you're working with children, so they might not be as good at describing what they're looking for in particular. And so that was kind of the reasoning behind having the recommended builds at the bottom. So those, if you saw in my prototype, and bring it back here. There's like these recommended for you builds at the bottom, which are kind of builds which have already been generated by the AI. And it's easy to just load more and continue like an infinite list of these new builds. And that allows a kid to not even need to enter anything into the prompt, but they already can just select one here and then get building right away. Another thing is that when you open the prompt, I also have suggested prompts on the bottom here, which are just examples, text examples of what you could potentially enter, just to reduce the amount of typing which needs to be done. And I think it's definitely a different target market completely than something like ChatGPT.
Hey Eric, really love the feature here. I think it's got great potential and a pretty big market size. You know, when I think about my own experiences playing with Legos as a child, one of the favorite things that I like to do is like go to a friend's house and like see what custom builds they've come up with after collecting their own sets. So I'm thinking more along the lines of like ecosystem and how do we make this as collaborative as a process as possible. So I wonder if we can add on the capability here of potentially uploading your own like builds and making this just a little bit more interactive, so you can see some custom builds that aren't created by the Lego organization, and you can branch out that way.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And I know, like, I have a map of all the Lego digital products which are offered right now. And I know that the Lego offers something called the Lego Life app, which is like a social media for sharing your Lego builds for younger children. So it's really highly moderated. They also have Lego Ideas, which is for like older children and adults for sharing their models. So I could definitely see that you could have within the ecosystem of digital products, have some sharing across those. Yeah.
And then just a quick question from my end. First off, yeah, I think the idea is super solid. I think it's really unique how you integrated a kind of a more traditionally physical product with a digital one. That's super cool. My question, and I think this is like kind of an age-long question of how do you really track or see the results after you know, the specific model has generated some sort of creation, right? How do you get people saying, hey, I finished building this. Oh, I wasn't able to finish this. How do you get an AI model that is able to generate something that is tailored to the specific level of a user? Have you thought about how you would basically integrate more physical, real life data and translate that into digital so that the user can, so that the model can understand?
Yeah, I think when I was thinking about that, the metric which I thought about the most was how many people can you get to make it to the end of the instruction manual. So how many people can you get to, you know, open the instruction manual and then make it through all the pages to the very end? And I think that could be a metric to measure success of how well the AI has actually worked.
So
But
how
I've
do you measure that specifically? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I would measure the number of people who, I guess I would measure it a little bit like a funnel. So I measure the number of people who make it to generating the model, and then the number of people who then open the instruction manual, and then the number of people who make it to the very end, and see the ratio between all of those to try to have the largest number, like largest percentage actually make it to the end. Does that answer the question? Was that kind of the direction you're looking?
Yeah, no, I'm just curious, like, how do you, so obviously the solution is on the phone, or it's digital, right? How does the solution know, hey, this person made it to the end? Is there some sort of like reporting button? Or I'm just curious, like, how do you bridge that gap?
I guess besides knowing that they made it to the end of the instruction manual, there wouldn't be any specific way for them to know that they've done what the AI has suggested. Perhaps you could, I mean, with the add-on feature, you could get metrics of whether we are increasing engagement of the older child segment by looking at something like sales of the sets which are marketed for that age demographic. But I'm not sure if there's, I would probably need to think about it more to determine whether there's like a good metric for reflecting the physical build process.
100%. I think one thing that you can think about is incentivizing users to self-report their builds. So example could be like social media or gamification, right? Like if a user or a child takes a picture of their build, they can, submit it to win an award, or, it could be rated or something. And that will help you basically, number one, build in a metric that basically track those metrics of completion. And number two, it'll help create content for you to maybe further promote or advertise the functionality. That could be one example, but yeah, overall, super solid idea. If you want to continue forward, I'm curious to see kind of what results come of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome job, Eric.